It's time for everyone's favorite annual F1 tradition. No, I'm not referring to the annual removal of an F1 driver's appendix as a sacrifice to the racing gods. That always comes mid-season, not pre-season. I am, of course, referring to J-Bone's annual F1 driver tier list, otherwise known as the definitive F1 driver tier list on all of the internet. At least it better be known as that, given the deal I made with the racing gods, where in exchange for having the definitive F1 driver tier list on the internet, I am cursed to never be allowed to leave this race car bed. I don't regret a thing, in case you were wondering. When it comes to my definitive 2025 F1 driver tier list, my methodology is simple. I ranked every Formula One driver from worst to best based on how I think they'd perform if they were all driving the same car, and from there, I organized them into tiers based on how I think each driver compares to the drivers around them. AKA, I did a tier list. You know what a tier list is. Let's get into it, and do not forget to toss this video a like, because I'm trying to get 1,500 likes on this video so that YouTube likes me more. J-Bomb! All the way at the bottom, you have the unknown quantities tier. This tier is reserved for rookie drivers for whom we simply do not have a large enough F1 performance sample size to be able to say with any certainty that they would outperform any more experienced F1 driver. At the bottom of the bottom, I am putting V-Carb rookie Isaac Hadjar just because he's the most unknown quantity of all the unknown quantities. This dude went from finishing P14 with one podium in the 2023 F2 season to narrowly missing out on winning the 2024 F2 season to being an F1 driver in the span of 1 year. Just an absolutely rapid climb up the ranks. That means there's still a lot to find out about Hadjar, aside from the fact that he clearly studied at the Yuki Tsunoda School of Team Radio Etiquette. Ahead of Hadjar, I have Alpine rookie Jack Doohan. Now, Jack Doohan actually does have one F1 race under his belt, so you could say he is a slightly known quantity. However, I still consider him an unknown quantity, as we did not learn anything from his random 2024 Abu Dhabi Screw You to Espano Con performance. Doohan was kind of just thrown in there last second for a number of reasons that I get into in my video, Will Alpine F1 Team's Risky Strategy Pay Off?, that you should check out after you check out this video. And that right there was a tough situation for any driver, so we don't really know how good he is because that whole thing was not indicative. Ahead of Doohan, I have Mercedes rookie Kimi Antonelli, and then Sauber rookie Gabriele Bortoleto to finish this tier off. I placed Antonelli ahead of Doohan and Hadjar because he's been seen as a prodigy for a while now by many well-respected motorsport people, and he has a FRECA championship, and I placed Bortoleto ahead of Antonelli because Gabby is more accomplished even than Kimi, despite being slightly less glorified. Any driver who wins back-to-back F3 and F2 championships as a rookie commands all of our respect, and that's why I put Gabby Bortoleto atop the unknown quantities tier. Now, the funny thing about the unknown quantities tier is that I legitimately think that there's an over 50% chance that any of these drivers could be better than the driver in the tier above them right out the gate, with that driver being Aston Martin's Lance Stroll in the Nepo baby tier. I think this because Lance is only in F1 right now, considering his dad owns the team, especially after the unforgivable Brazil gravel incident, where he just beached his own car, potentially on purpose, so that he could go do literally anything else because he looks like he hates racing. However, because Lance has 3 podiums and a pole position to his name forever ago, but still, it just seems wrong to put him below some untested rookies. Also, I still fully believe the theory that Lance's dad is going to do some crazy stuff that will turn Lance into a World Drivers' Championship contender next season. Above the Nepo Baby tier is the quote-unquote rookie tier, consisting of the 2 2025 rookies who are known enough quantities to rank them above all the other rookies and Lance Stroll, but not known enough quantities to rank them above anybody else. That's Haas's Oliver Behrman and Red Bull's Liam Lawson. I placed Ollie Behrman behind Liam Lawson here, just given Liam's had more time in F1 than Ollie and has shown a little bit more racecraft. Above the quote-unquote rookie tier, there's the better than people think tier. This tier is reserved for those drivers who, as the name explicitly suggests, are better than people give them credit for. They are almost certainly not future world champions, but they would have a very good shot at podiums if they were on top teams. At the bottom of this tier, I have V-Carb's Yuki Tsunoda, and if you're upset that I ranked Yuki above Liam despite Red Bull picking Liam over Yuki for their open seat, remember that Yuki went undefeated against Liam in Grand Prix qualifying last season. Above Yuki, I have Sauber's Nico Hülkenberg, who proved to us last season that he's still got some fight left in him. And yes, I do believe Nico Hülkenberg could get a podium in a top car right now, despite the fact that he holds the record for the most races without a podium in F1 history. We need to get this man a podium before he's out of Formula One, please. Atop this tier, I have Haas's Esteban Ocon, who a lot of people are not fans of, including like anybody he's ever been on a team with, but who I still rate decently. He is an F1 race winner after all, and he's also been on the podium 4 of the last 5 seasons, so give this man some credit. 10 drivers down, 10 to go, but before we get into the top 10, when it comes to hiring, finding the right person quickly is incredibly important because the longer a role goes unfilled, the longer your business is not able to maximize its potential. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people that you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. 45%. When past companies I've worked at were looking to hire, I wish we'd used Indeed because it would have saved us a lot of headaches. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/fbone. Just go to Indeed.com/fbone right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/fbone. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. All right, above the better than people think tier, we have the wild card tier. This tier consists of 2 drivers who have shown glimpses of greatness recently, yet aren't on good enough teams for us to know just how high their ceiling really is. And ironically, both of them used to be on a good enough team for us to know just how high their ceiling is, but were both ruthlessly cut from said team. Yes, it is Williams' Alex Albon and Alpine's Pierre Gasly, who both are in interesting phases of their careers right now after being promoted to and then demoted from Red Bull. I give Gasly the nod over Albon, just given how the gas man went insano at the end of 2024, while Albon had a down year due to Williams going through a rebuild. However, the thing about these 2 dudes being in the wildcard tier is that either of them could easily jump all the way up to the top of, or to the bottom of, or totally off of the tier list sometime within the next couple seasons, because they're wild cards. Above the wildcard tier is my largest tier that contains 1/4 of the drivers on the grid, and will certainly be considered my most controversial tier. It's the very good and on a mission tier and contains 5 drivers. I think all 5 of these drivers are very good and could be World Drivers' Champions within the next few years, but they have not shown quite as much recently as the 3 drivers in the final 2 remaining tiers. Before I give you the drivers and my ranking of them, just know that the margins here are very slim, and this tier was the hardest by far to rank, just given how close together I think all 5 of these drivers are at the moment. At the bottom of this tier, you have Williams' Carlos Sainz, who is on a mission to show Ferrari they should not have let him go. Above Sainz, you have McLaren's Oscar Piastri, who is on a mission to show the world he's not McLaren's second driver and has been worth all the hype that he's been given. Above Oscar, you have Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton, that feels weird to say, who is on a mission to pull a Tom Brady and prove that he can win championships wherever he goes. Above Lewis, you have Mercedes' George Russell, who is on a mission to prove to the world that he's to be taken seriously after the whole T-pose fiasco. I put George ahead of Lewis, given their qualifying head-to-head last season, and just because he outclassed him in my opinion. Above George, you have Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso, who's on a mission to win his first race since 2013 so he can close out his legendary career in style. Alonso got the nod at the top here, given how I think he's the most motivated driver in this group, and how much he has beaten his teammate Lance Stroll by in recent seasons. I know that's not saying a ton, but it's at least saying a little bit. All right, in the second highest tier, you have the two drivers that I believe have the best shot at dethroning 4 times in a row F1 World Drivers Champion Max Verstappen from his position as Formula One's best driver, and that's why I've named their tier the Next Driver Up tier. At the bottom of this tier, I have Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, and above him, I've placed McLaren's Lando Norris. Both of these drivers were really impressive last season in terms of how they performed compared to their super talented teammates, how consistent they were all season long, and how they appear to both still be improving. As far as why I gave Lando the nod over Leclerc, it is very thin margins, but I think that after last season where Lando got a ton of experience battling Max on track, he will be better prepared to take Max down, which a driver needs to be able to do to take the top spot, because all the way at the top, you have the Max Verstappen tier consisting of Logan Sargent, rah, WTF is a kilometer. Okay, no, it's got Max Verstappen, obviously, as he's still very clearly F1's greatest driver at the moment, who's on an all-time hot streak. This dude was World Drivers Champion last season, despite his team finishing third in the World Constructors Championship. Wild. Whatever the racing gods are charging Max for this insane run he's on, it's not enough. Toss me a subscription now and ring that notification bell so that you'll get my eagerly anticipated 2025 preseason predictions video sent directly to you right when it drops here next week. And while you're doing that, folks, do not forget to like this video so that YouTube likes J-Bone more. Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members: Joe Max's #1 hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolfslows Racing, Wavalopagos, Melissa Cruz, The Tater, Elmar Zoomer, Daddy Fett, and David Hake. Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right here in future videos. And until next time, folks, J-Bone! J-Bone!